If you watch the promotional interviews for Amazon's highly anticipated The Rings of Power series, you will be subjected to a torrent of the most unendurable tripe. This marketing campaign is the most mean-spirited, sanctimonious, and preachy that I have ever seen outside the realm of politics. The principal source of the oral garbage is an actress called Sofia Nomvete, who has been doing a lot of talking. This actress plays, now buckle your seatbelts, motherfuckers, because this is going to hit you harder than an angry mob at a mostly peaceful protest. Are you ready? She plays
the first female dwarf that we've ever seen in the world of Tolkien and the Lord of Rings.
That's right, amazing. I am hereby ordering a national minute of applause every evening at 6 p.m. to celebrate this historical, momentous occasion.
This is a revolutionary moment for cinematic and television.
School kids, take down those Martin Luther King portraits from the wall because there is a new hero of civil rights to be celebrated. All streets named Martin Luther King Street will now be known as First Female Dwarf of Color Street. Put her on the currency right now. Get the fuck out of the way, Lincoln. In fact, tear down that fucking Lincoln monument while you're at it. What the fuck did he ever do for black people? We have a new hero who needs to be recognized.
The 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday. Today, we celebrate our
first female dwarf that we've ever seen in the world of Tolkien and the Lord of Rings.
If you thought the absurd fixation of this woman on her character's immutable characteristics is just a symptom of an ego boost experienced by an actress who's maybe a little bit excited and getting carried away by her 15 minutes of fame, you're wrong. There's a lot more and a lot worse where that came from. This woman is Brie Larson on steroids. But before we get into why that is, let us first take a brief look back on Brie Larson's career as the Queen of Insufferable, now that she has been dethroned. I actually liked Brie in this position, because when Brie says something, you can at least deal with it fairly quickly and easily, and you get a good laugh out of it into the bargain. For example, if she says this:
"There is an insanely low chance a woman of color will have the chance to see your movie and review your movie."
I can say, that's not true. She can go on to Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, or Metacritic and leave a review on there along with the score for the movie. Or if she wants to get her face out there, she can make a YouTube video, and who cares what critics think? Their opinions are no more valid than any movie lover with a keyboard. See, I'm glad we could clear that up. Or if she says this:
The bottom line is that if each of the top 100 films in a year added 9 critics that are 3 underrepresented males, 3 white females, 3 underrepresented females, and the average critic pool would match the US population in just 5 years.
For the parts that I managed to stay awake for, I can say, there's no good reason for professional publications to hand out movie critic positions according to the demographic breakdown of the country. Just let the funny movie buffs handle it, and don't worry about their race, it's not a big deal, and there's no reason to suppose that someone's personal opinion of a film comes from some sort of racial hive mind. That's crazy. We're individuals, not drones. Or if she says this:
I do not need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for him.
Christ, Brie, we get it. You're on board with the message. You don't need to go all Jake Sully on us.
This is our land! Hey, Sully. How's it feel to betray your own race?
Quick aside here, as a kid, I fucking despised Jake Sully. This cunt betrays his own species, kills dozens if not hundreds of men who worked and fought to keep him safe, and endangers the lives of everybody else, and all for a bit of half-decent native ass. Christ, man, I know you got dealt a shitty hand, and maybe it's been a while, but this guy doesn't even have legs.
I can't turn back the hands of time, so I gotta live from here on out. For my life from here on out, I just can't feel sorry for myself.
And he's crushing it? What the fuck's your excuse? And this Benedict Arnold motherfucker is portrayed as if he's some sort of hero. Fuck Avatar and fuck its upcoming sequel. And you never know, Brie, as much as you despise the average
40-year-old white dude,
you might be one yourself one day. Hey, it happened to Ellen Page. God, I'd forgotten how fucking awful Brie Larson actually is. As nasty, mean, and impressively stupid as her little speech is, it is funny watching Brie stand behind that podium in her pink dress, trying to channel the spirit of Martin Luther King.
All men are created equal.
A 40-year-old white dude.
Look, I know that Brie's a bit of an insufferable cunt.
What? Say it.
You're a cunt.
I know that her YouTube videos are playing on a loop in the fourth layer of hell.
So you like
Brie Larson.
me? Well, have all that
Brie Larson.
in the world.
I did get a couple of pieces of art that I think are gonna bring a new look, a new vibe, a new energy into this space as I mark my next 100 years on YouTube.
I don't understand it. James Coco went mad in 15 minutes.
I know that she is the living incarnation of the strong female character trope that has laid waste to on-screen female character quality over the past 10 years.
Is there any competition between the different sects, the different groups? Is there
There's
any
no competition for me because I'm the strongest, so it's just kind of like a different...
Well, yeah, you should let her think that, but yeah.
It's not. As
You
I've
are.
said before, it's not. It's just a fact. It's not a personal opinion.
No,
and
no,
it's
no.
not a reflection on what you can't do, but it is also kind of a reflection on all that you
It's
can't do.
just
But she's manageable. At the end of the day, she's maybe just a prickly pear with a heavy dose of the old Hollywood narcissism.
I do all
This
my
is the thing.
stunts.
I did my stunts because I thought that that's what everyone did, and
Because
then
Tom Cruise over here.
no, I want to be the first me, not the next Tom Cruise. Thank you very much.
Wow.
I never really got that statement. Like, you're already you. How can you be the next you? Is she gonna clone herself like that guy in The Sixth Day and transfer her consciousness to the clone, then steal clothes from the original Brie's body? So yeah, I think Brie had a pretty good run as the Queen of Insufferable. It was a successful reign that provided much meme content, but this Rings of Power dwarf woman. If 1,000,000 Lucasfilm writers sat at 1,000,000 typewriters for 1,000,000 years, they would not come up with the words to describe the level of insufferable that this woman has achieved. I will simply let her speak for herself.
Sophia, I cannot tell you what a thrill it was to see you up on the screen as the first female dwarf. How amazing is that?
It's a miracle. And so to be attached to Tolkien's works in presenting that revolutionary television moment, it is necessary for the worlds, for every single race and world that we live in, for females to be present.
That is the power of a female dwarf. Necessity for any great success story, there are females, and here I am.
But what do we learn about woman dwarves that we didn't know through your portrayal?
Well, we learned that they exist. Noticing and acknowledging the fact that this is the first time that we see a woman and the first time that we see a black woman in this area and this world and these works of Tolkien. You know, this is necessary. This is a revolutionary moment for cinematic and television. That is the power of a female dwarf, and that is a presence that is necessary within our industry more than ever. This represents progression. This represents an acknowledgement of where we have been and a will to get to where we need to be in order for this to be accessible to everyone. What I would love is for everybody to come on the journey where those two worlds collide and where we don't change anything, but we interpret everything in this incredible, unique way. It means absolutely everything. It is everything. It is everything for people of colour. It is everything to progress forward in the film and television industries.
Holy shit. I don't need to hear anymore. I am officially crowning first female dwarf of colour actress the Queen of Insufferable. I bestow upon her the royal title Fifadok in honour of her being the first female dwarf of colour. Fifadok opens her mouth and a raging torrent of shite rushes out. Listening to this fecal bilge pour forth from her and trying to figure out everything that is wrong with it is like drinking water from a waterfall. It's like trying to build a snowman in an avalanche. Brie Larson could always send a pesky little raiding party into the world of ideas.
Whom do you serve?
Brie Larson.
But it's never anything a band of good men can't handle. But Fifadok, she sends out the entire fucking population of Mordor.
This represents progression. This represents an acknowledgement of where we have been and a will to get to where we need to be in order for this to be accessible to everyone.
So there's only one thing to be done. In the words of Gandalf,
Send these foul beasts into the abyss!
so now, in an act of supreme masochism, I will go through everything Fifadok says and respond to it piece by piece. I understand that I imperil my sanity by doing this, but I must carry out this mission on behalf of the despot community.
To be part of a redress of balance is an honour.
The implication in this statement is that the Lord of the Rings exclusive use of white actors was a bad thing, and that Amazon's new and improved Lord of the Rings, featuring races even Tolkien didn't know existed in Middle-earth, will help to undo the damage that was done to people of colour by their not being inclusivized in the Peter Jackson trilogy. She doesn't even make the argument that wrong was done. It is simply assumed in her statement. This is the "when did you stop beating your wife?" technique, only it's an implication of mean-spirited racism against Lord of the Rings and the fandom. The reason only whites are in Lord of the Rings is because Tolkien wrote it like this because he wanted to create a mythic epic for England. If you want to be true to the source material, use only white actors. If you view yourself as some sort of Hollywood handout studio for minorities, then make an entirely different show that tells a different story. Here's a few ideas. Nat Turner's Rebellion. Make that show. The vast majority of the actors would be black. If it was done right, it would be amazing. I'd pay to see it. Malcolm X's pre-prison life as a hustler, drug dealer, and thief based in Harlem, a life he led for several years. Just that part of his life is an amazing story, detailed in his autobiography. Make that a TV show. Or how about a show about the Comanches? Originally a weak Stone Age mountain people before taming and mastering European horses that were brought to the New World during the Columbian Exchange, they then used their mounted warrior power to destroy, conquer, enslave, and subjugate the neighbouring native tribes before coming into contact with Europeans pushing west and fighting a brutal, drawn-out, hit-and-run guerrilla war with them. That would be fucking awesome. Or if you want to do something fictional, how about adapting the Epic of Gilgamesh? But no, because that would also be a lot of effort and carry too much risk. Far easier to just invest $1 billion into a product that pretends to belong to the same franchise that has been built up by the hard work of other people. And of course, to
be part of a redress of balance.
Or translated from Wokenese, steal somebody else's work and impose a race quota on it.
We don't change anything, but we interpret everything in this incredible, unique way.
This is classic woke speak in action. It's not an illegal alien, it's an undocumented immigrant. It's not racism, it's anti-racism. It's not a sex change, it's a gender affirmation surgery. It's not a 40-year-old migrant, it's a child refugee. It's not a man, it's a woman. It's not a woman, it's a man. It's not a riot, it's a mostly peaceful protest. It's not some kid standing doing nothing. It's the face of white supremacy. It's not killing a baby, it's women's healthcare. It's not a hero, it's a toxic male loser. They're not murderous, torturing savages. They're native bodies and spirits who have much wisdom and much to teach us. He's not the greatest hero ever to grace the screen. He's a murderous, bitter old white man. Middle-earth isn't Middle-earth anymore. It's a reflection of our society. Yes, apparently everyone in Middle-earth has a smartphone now, and Pornhub's latest Uruk-hai on Hobbit video has just passed 2 billion views. And if you're going to make Lord of the Rings a reflection of our society, then why not have rap or rock or metal in the soundtrack? They're all popular. Such a soundtrack would reflect what many people in our world are listening to.
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, motherfucker!
So when Fefedox says, interpret everything, what she really means is,
destroy it!
This represents progression.
When wokeists say progression, or more commonly progress, what they mean is social engineering. The notion of socially engineered political progress is a Marxist theory that originated in the French Revolution, that communal morality and values are like technology. If properly manipulated, they will improve over time, and if those morals and values don't improve, it's because they are being held in place by evil social constructs like traditional values, Christianity, nationalism, the nuclear family, freedom of conscience, and artistic freedom.
This is not just about baseball. That religious exemption BS, which is used in sport and otherwise.
The old Lord of the Rings was evil, you see, because it only had white people. The new Lord of the Rings is an improvement because it has people with dark-colored skin.
Yeah, but the color of someone's skin doesn't matter.
Well, of course it matters when...
Progression.
Just celebrate the new, updated, and modern Lord of the Rings. The old is bad and the new is good.
The book purist, what message do you have for them?
Open your mind to everything that is about to happen.
Open your mind, because you are the one with the problem here. Your narrow-minded bigotry is what's holding Lord of the Rings back from being a truly accessible product for all races to consume. before getting excited for next product to consume. It's not Amazon that's narrow-minded and trapped by an ideological possession so all-encompassing that they literally have non-negotiable diversity quotas for all TV shows. Amazon doesn't need to open their minds to new ideas such as it's okay to have a show with only white people in it, or instead of hijacking Tolkien and inserting woke identity politics into the world, keep your current year garbage out of it and stick to the source material. Tolkien was one of the great storytelling geniuses of history, and everything you need to create a great, epic masterpiece is already there in the source material. Do your fucking research. Make the effort and create something great. Peter Jackson and his crew of amazing visionary artists did it. You can do it too, especially since you have literally billions of dollars behind you. Abandon ideology, embrace the creative journey with a spirit of artistic freedom, and bring a literary creation into the audiovisual world with an open mind, one free from the cancer of wokest postmodern theory. What do you say, Amazon?
This represents an acknowledgement of where we have been and a will to get to where we need to be in order for this to be accessible to everyone.
Christ, just hearing this shite makes me feel like my brain is melting out my ears. Okay, two things going on here. Let's take them one at a time.
This represents an acknowledgement of where we have been.
Yes, we must bow our heads in shame and confess. We enjoyed a movie trilogy featuring only white people. Not only did we enjoy it, we loved it. We played the video games, we bought the box sets, we may even have read the books. We must bow in submission to the new moral priesthood and confess to our racial victims the damage and violence that we have inflicted upon them by supporting one of the great achievements of cinema, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. All right, good. Let's take on the second part.
And a will to get to where we need to be.
Whether you like it or not, this is happening. Tolkien is ours now. Middle-earth is ours now. Lord of the Rings is ours now. And if that means that the lore, the world, and the fandom have to be dragged kicking and screaming into the modern era, our modern era, then so fucking be it. It doesn't matter if this is a good idea or not, it needs to happen. This is
where we need to be. She is the first female dwarf that we have ever seen on screen.
Sorry, Willow's wife, you don't count. Neither do you, cinematic female dwarf.
There are so many diverse people out there who will have really enjoyed all of the works that we've seen before, but now they get to see themselves staring back at them. Like, that's incredibly important.
Oh my god, this puke again.
I had waited all my life to see players of color, to see a reflection of myself in games. Reflection of myself, 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 reflection of myself.
An individual who belongs to the same ethnic group as you is not a reflection of you. This man...
What you doing, man? What you doing, man? What I doing? What I doing? You can't eat that, man. We just get for training. I've been driving behind you for 1 hour. You can't stay committed for 1 hour? I'm trying. You trying what? I'm trying. How you gonna lose weight? How you gonna lose weight? You gotta stay committed, man. This is no game. This is a life and death situation.
And this person,
in fashion, I decided to open a conversation and create the Everyman Project. The Everyman Project is a body positivity initiative that encourages body diversity in the fashion industry and actually all industries in the entertainment sector, as well as dispelling toxic masculinity and really redefining what it means to be a man. Dispelling toxic masculinity and really redefining what it means to be a man.
Are not a reflection of each other. They are not the same person. They are not units coming off a production line that manufactures black American males. They are not clones. They are individuals, clearly very different individuals. There is no mystical force that binds them together in some sort of brotherhood of melanin, causing their body and spirit to be reflected in one another. The circumstances of these men's lives were not determined by their race. Listen to them. Their lives are a reflection of their attitude, not their skin tone. One man has chosen responsibility and meaning. The other has chosen to give in to the demons that want to create hell on earth. To believe that anyone on a screen is a reflection of everyone in that actor's ethnic group is to believe that the individual is subordinate to the racial group, and that the most important thing about you isn't the decisions you make, or your actions, or the content of your character, but the race you belong to. Amazon believe that you are nothing more than a representative of your identity group. If you're really that determined to see a reflection of yourself when you watch TV, just buy a fucking mirror and glue it to your TV. The level of narcissism behind this notion that you should want to see yourself on a screen is astonishing. The very word narcissist comes from the story of Narcissus, a man who fell in love with a reflection of himself in a pond and spent his entire life admiring his own reflection. The people who support this wokest ideal of seeing yourself reflected in a few pixels in a game or in an annoying actress are encouraging you to pursue the purest form of narcissism. Not everyone in a racial group is the same. Not all blacks can play basketball.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the...
Not all Jews escape out the bathroom window to avoid paying a $2 tip to a struggling waitress. Not all Japanese work 40 hours a day and buy teenage girls' underpants from used underwear dispensers, and not all Irish are drunks. Okay, that last one's actually true. We're all raging fucking alcoholics. I mean, it does suck being constantly drunk, but it could be worse. We could be sober, am I right, lads? Also, that black hobbit reminds me of Father Jack.
Drink!
I'm going to end this topic with a quote from someone who really knows the difference between quality entertainment and trash.
I spend all day with myself. I don't want a story about me.
It is so time for us to expand the accessibility and the opportunity for this world, Tolkien's world.
All right, two major bad ideas here. First, The Lord of the Rings is already accessible. It is available in 38 languages. Clearly, non-whites and non-English speakers have no problem accessing Tolkien's world, since The Lord of the Rings is the second most read book of all time, next to the Bible. The movies are loved the world over by people from every culture, nation, and ethnicity, and are widely regarded as the greatest movie trilogy of all time, and one of the great achievements in cinema. Tolkien's world is just about the most accessible fictional world ever to be created. Inserting modern-day political narratives and diversity quotas into Tolkien's world will not make it more accessible. It will do the opposite. It will take something that is universally loved by people all over the world and ground it in current year politics, thereby dividing its viewer base according to their political outlook. The Lord of the Rings is broadly read, loved, and acclaimed because the lessons that Tolkien teaches us through that work are universal messages that transcend politics and connect with us on a deep psychological level. The hero's journey, the importance of loyalty and friendship, bravery in the face of evil, the inevitability of paying a high price to defeat evil, evil's unquenchable thirst for power. You see a girl you like? Get off your ass, go over and talk to her. Among many other great lessons.
Singing, it almost feels like it's a sound from the depths of our soul. And I know that people of colour will relate to that, in that when we sing, when we use our voices, it comes from way beyond. It comes from our ancestors. It comes from the struggle. It comes from the desperation and the fight for survival within a performance and within our storyline.
My God, how much more of this fucking shite do I have to listen to? Firstly, her use of the word we when talking about people of colour. People of colour are not an ethnic group. They're not a race. They're not even a coherent identity group. It just means people who aren't white. When Fefedoc says we, is she claiming to speak on behalf of Native Hawaiians? Or Aboriginals? Or Siberian natives? Or Mongols? Who exactly is this we she is referring to? She seems to think that history is the story of Europeans fighting as a single entity against non-Europeans who resisted them as a single entity. If only Genghis Khan knew that only whites could wage violent warfare and commit atrocities, 40 million lives could have been saved. This doesn't even qualify as a leftist fantasy. It's just absurd and ridiculous to a cartoonish degree. It demonstrates complete historical illiteracy. She also asserts here that only dark-coloured people have had to struggle in their history. Apparently, and let's just do the highlights of the past couple centuries here, otherwise we'll be here all fucking day. Apparently, the Irish famine, the American Civil War, World War I, the Armenian Genocide, the Spanish flu, the Great Depression, the Gulags, the Holodomor, World War II, the Holocaust, the Cold War, the nuclear arms race, deindustrialization, zombie Simpsons, the Great Recession, and cats never happened, because at least, according to Fefedoc, white people have never suffered in history, and as a result, we cannot call upon our ancestors when we struggle in the modern day as Fefedoc and her fellow non-whites can. And notice her use of the word we when she talks about struggle. Clearly, Fefedoc believes that she has struggled greatly in her life. She should write a memoir entitled There and Back Again, A Hero's Journey, about her struggle to get up from the couch, go to the fridge, take out another bowl of snacks, and return to the couch. A tale of heroism in the face of lethargy, a modern epic from modern times, an odyssey of empowerment to reflect the struggle of many women in the modern era. Finally, marginalized members of the body positive community will be able to see themselves reflected back at themselves. That is progression.
Progression.
I'm not going to listen to anything else Fefedoc has to say. I feel a bit like those cleaners that had to go onto the Chernobyl roof, toss off a few pieces of radioactive material, then bolt before they were exposed to a lethal dose of radiation. I don't think I can safely listen to anything else this woman has to say. I hope this modest effort will help in the fight to defend Middle-earth from Amazon's attempted conquest. Amazon have, like a giant parasite, attached as much of the brand recognition of the real Lord of the Rings to their piece of shit imitation product as they can. Amazon want to profit off the work of others by pretending that this show has something to do with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which of course it does not. This plagiarism and their parasitical marketing is deliberate and shameless. Amazon have very deliberately included as much of the iconography and imagery from the Lord of the Rings movies as they can in Rings of Power, so that audiences think that this is a show being done by the same people that gave us the Lord of the Rings, and it's not. The two have absolutely nothing to do with one another. Amazon's marketing campaign has been built around a bare-faced lie. This show is built upon a lie, that Rings of Power is canon based on Tolkien, and everything that comes out of Fefedoc's mouth is a lie. Thanks for listening, subscribe, and don't forget to race and gender swap the like button and demand that this aesthetic change be celebrated by fans of the previous like button.
The age of men is over. The time of
the first female dwarf that we've ever seen in the world of Tolkien and the Lord of Rings
has come.